Hello, everyone. Happy Wednesday. I am here for our weekly update for the city of Compton. And on today's agenda, and by the way, it's Wednesday, September 9th, I'll be sharing the latest in coronavirus data, give you a quick update on relief efforts, coronavirus testing. I'll give you a short recap of the council meeting from last night, also Compton Newsletter, updates on resources and events, as well as Compton Street reconstruction updates. And then I'll also do a recap. And then, as usual, I'll take live questions in discussion. So thank you all for tuning in today, and I'll get started now. As of 8 p.m. last night, the latest COVID-19 statistics are as follows. There are 249,241 confirmed COVID-19 cases in Los Angeles County. There have been 6,036 deaths. In Compton, we have 3,796 confirmed COVID-19 cases and 61 fatalities. In terms of our relief efforts, there are still many food distributions still taking place regularly within our community. All of the resources that are listed are available online and also accessible in our resource guide. And you can download that at comptoncity.org/covid19.asp. Moving forward with our testing site, as many of you know, we fought hard for a testing facility to be located in the city of Compton. And as of the first week of August, the facility opened through the Department of Public Health, through Los Angeles County, and also partially funded through the state of California. The facility is located at Gonzalez Park. And we have received notification that very few people are utilizing the facility. It's open from Sunday to Thursday from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Formerly, they were requesting appointments, but they are now accepting walk-ins due to the low volume. So please, Compton family, make sure that you spread the word if there are any people that need to be tested for COVID-19, that they access this free testing facility. It's critical that we utilize the resources that we are able to bring here so that we can keep them here. And then in the future, when their needs arise, that we can get the support that we need for you all. So please support, share the information. We'll also post the flyer for you all to share. As of the council meeting last night, I shared with you all last week that there was several critical items to actually restructure the city. The city council approved this year's budget, which is effective July 1 through June 30th of 2021. Within that budget, due to COVID-19, there were several reorganizations to be able to have more efficiencies, to save money, and to be more effective. The budget also included a $5 million shortfall that we had to actually reduce staff and other additional services. And so we did lay off approximately 40 employees in the city of Compton to be able to address some of those issues. I say all that to say the budget was approved by the council, which included the restructuring, but we are now at the stage where we have to actually enact the departments so that the employees can function in this new structure that is already in place. And again, was ratified by the budget, but we have members on the city council that decided not to approve the restructuring that was already presented to the city council at the time of the budget. What this means is that we unfortunately have now people working within departments without accurate and stable leadership. There are other issues that I won't go into too much detail today for legal liability issues, but I do want to just alert you that please contact your city council members. We have 4 elected members that represent you in addition to me, and their vote matters. And so when they decide not to take action on items, we delay moving the city forward for progress. There is not a community in the United States that was not impacted by COVID-19 budgetary shortfalls. Most have made reductions and changes. Compton is no different. And so it's critical that we ensure that our leadership is operating on our behalf and that we are not allowing for the interests of a few to impact the many. I shared with you all last week that I would just share a quick tidbit on leadership that I've learned over the years, and I'll actually share that at the end of this update, but it definitely relates to what we're seeing on our local city council here in Compton. Moving forward, on the Compton Newsletter, you all should have received your newsletter. I've received some screenshots from residents that did receive their newsletter. I hope you find the content informative and helpful. If there's information that you wish could have been included, please email us at contactmayor@comptoncity.org. We really want to be responsive to issues and information that the community is interested in. So please let us know, give us your feedback so that we can continue to improve. For those of you that would like to access the electronic copy of the newsletter, you can access that on our website, comptoncity.org. Also, a weekend roundup for resources and events. I'd just like to give a big thank you to the Rose Street Block Club, led by Miss Nadine White and the Pentecostals of Compton, whom led a cleanup in their district. They're located in the northeast side of the city, which is considered District 2. They cleaned up their neighborhoods on Saturday, had a great turnout, great leadership. And I'd like to just thank them for their continued service in our community. They usually do a cleanup every quarter, and they have continued on even in the midst of this pandemic. So congratulations and thank you to them. Also, this past Saturday, the Compton Advocates and Vecinos Unidos led a Census Caravan in partnership with the 4th District Youth Council, the NAACP, Connecting Compton, and the Vaqueros from Richland Farms, and it was just well attended. We had a wonderful time. The highlight for me was seeing the young kids come outside of the house and seeing the rancheros and reading the signs, and people asking questions about the census. So our goal is to bring awareness to the importance of making sure that Compton is counted. Our census deadline was shortened about a month ago, so the new deadline is now September 30th, and this was a federal mandate to shorten the window. We currently have 62.5% of people in Compton that have completed the census. Our goal obviously is 100%. We need to push that number up so that we can ensure that we receive critical federal funding and resources that will be allocated to our city for the years to come. The census only is conducted once every 10 years. So Compton's response will impact us for the next 10 years. So if we only count a little over half of our population, that we're only entitled to half of the funding, half of the federal resources, and other vital services that our community is entitled to because we all pay taxes. So please fill out the census. It literally takes 5 minutes. You can go to census.gov. We are planning more activations to occur from now through the rest of the month to ensure that we can just do everything that we can to encourage people to fill out the census. Also, about that, we're launching a social media campaign. And for those of you that have filled out your census, if you can just record a short video as to why you completed the census for you and your family, and also hashtag Make Compton Count. We will share your video about why you love Compton, why you filled out the census, so that we can actually hear from resident to resident about why we are ensuring that Compton secures our funding for our future. Also, moving into Compton Street Reconstruction updates. For September 4th, our weekly newsletter for CIP Project 1801, we were currently at 46% completion, and the actual completion date is still scheduled for December 18th. The work being completed, that was completed last week by Z&K Construction Management Team. They held their 12th construction progress meeting. So these meetings occur every single week. And currently there's work happening or being prepared to occur on 134th Street and Alva Avenue and Grandee Avenue. They're also laying out concrete cutting for 134th Street, Alva, and Grandee Avenue. They are cutting to prepare for new ramps, curbs, and gutters, and also driveway approaches and sidewalks. They're currently in this area. They also are doing work on Caldwell Street from McKinley East to Central. They are also base paving on south side of Caldwell Street from McKinley East to Central. So there's work happening there. They will end, and then we'll also conclude at the end of Wilmington for a grinding overlay. So work happening there. There's also work occurring on Tejada, and then also Compton Boulevard. There will be cross gutters removed on that intersection. Also, there will be a grinding overlay on the north side and south side of Caldwell from West End to Wilmington. There's additional improvements scheduled for Bradfield and Alondra. I received a note from one of our Block Club members yesterday asking, what's the status of Bradfield? So Bradfield is obviously on the CIP schedule, but we do not anticipate our contractors moving over to begin working on Bradfield until really the end of November. And I explained before that for economies of scale and for efficiency, the contractors are working and doing the same type of work across areas, and then they're mobilizing materials, laying out materials and manpower. So they're usually kind of like baking a cake. They're laying the foundation with all the similar ingredients across the city, and then they'll go back and add the next stages as they continue to do the work. So thank you for your patience. I know it's a long time coming, but work is coming near you. Also, while I have you all and we're talking about streets and infrastructure, we are preparing to bring forward, once again, an $85 million construction package, financing package to pave the remainder of our streets in the city of Compton. So this will address all failed streets. We will also add additional lighting, also improving our parks and adding critical upgrades to facilities such as fire stations and other critical equipment. And other improvements. And so we'll actually gear up. We're working on this, some additional collateral for you all to get your input. So we'll start releasing surveys next week around certain projects. And we'll be able to get your feedback on how you'd like to see these funds spent. But I do want to alert you that October 5th is a critical date for our city. In terms of progress, there are windows of opportunity that we are able to move forward. This is one of them. This will be a considerable boost to our city's infrastructure. This will also create jobs, and this will actually get our city finally on the track of maintenance. We have been dealing with deferred maintenance, so years of divestment and neglect for decades in Compton Street. So this will actually get us up to where we need to be, where all of the failed streets are addressed. We'll actually be able to implement not only a reconstruction and grind and overlay, but crack sealing, slurry seal program, so that even some of the streets that don't have potholes, they still require maintenance to prevent potholes. So we'll get into a stage of prevention and then just regular maintenance. And so this is critical for the future of our community, the health of our community. We'll also be making some additional upgrades to our parks. Most of you with children know that we've done considerable investments in our parks over the last many years. And so this will actually provide a new level of amenities and just improve how you feel and how you experience your parks. My goal is that our parks will be not only comparable, but even better than other communities. And we have partners lined up to help make that happen. So we'll be leveraging your tax dollars through partnership, public-private joint ventures to really transform the way that we use our outdoor spaces. And these projects, these are not long-term projects. These are projects that have been prepared. And now we're at the last stage to capitalize. And so I'll be providing some collateral for you all and encouraging you to contact your council members and to let them know that you have an expectation to move the city forward. We cannot allow continued delays to hamper our city's progress. And as usual, I just encourage everyone to please just check the City of Compton's website. We try to update it regularly with new information, new press releases, bulletins. We are posting information to the city's website, Channel 36. And then also there also are a few additional updates that will be coming out via blast related to the census. And then for those of you that have signed up for the city's emergency notification system, then you are now getting robocalls and text messages from the City of Compton. So please feel free to sign up so that we can keep you in the loop. And you can do all of that on the City of Compton's website. And as I shared earlier, I was going to just share a quick leadership tidbit. Many of you have requested and signed up for some leadership, activation, and development. And so one of the books that is really a foundation of my leadership that I have learned and taken several classes taught by Natalie Owens at Faith Inspirational Church. Shout out to Natalie Owens. You can actually follow her on all social media platforms. And she provides weekly activations as well. But I'd like to just share a book that I've read many times over the years, and it's by John Maxwell, 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership. If you all are not familiar with John Maxwell, he's a renowned leadership coach, author, just really groundbreaking in a lot of the information that he's been able to compile over the years. And one law that is essential, and it's actually the first law in his book, is called the law of the lid. And I touched on this before relative to your elected leadership. And the law of the lid simply means that you only can go, this is as a community, an organization, even a family, you only can go as high as the leadership ability of your leaders. And so if your leaders are only effective on a scale of 1 to 10, if they're a 4, that means by default, anything under them can only rise to a 3. And so that's critical when we think about leadership within the city of Compton, that if we have people that are not committed to raising their effectiveness, to reading, to learning, to expanding, to doing new things, having more exposure, and just really pushing forward, pushing the envelope, thinking about how do we implement new ideas? How do we do things differently? How do we tear down the walls of the status quo? How do we affect change in Compton? Is that if that is not the number one mission and goal, then we will have people that are content with inaction. And over the last 7 years, this is something that I have witnessed firsthand, which is really the Achilles heel of our community. And this is not to negate all of the great things that have happened over the last 7 years and before that, and that will happen beyond my tenure serving in Compton. But this is really to state a fact that there are been many instances where the city could not move forward because of poor leadership, inaction, people that are content with the status quo. And so I encourage you all to think about how do we raise the level of leadership, not only in our households, within our communities, our schools, our neighborhoods, but also in your city leadership. If you have leaders that are ineffective, that don't take the time to educate themselves on issues, that are just not effective as individuals, then the city of Compton will be stifled. We will not be able to reach our full potential. And that's one of the things. I don't have many fears in life. I thank God for that faith and that trust in him. But I can tell you that what would keep me up at night is thinking about the possibility of not reaching my full potential. And that's me as an individual, as a person. That's something that I cannot accept. I cannot take. And I spend my life daily pushing myself forward so that I can be more effective in everything that I do. So look up the law of the lid. It's really about that your leadership ability determines a person's level of effectiveness. And I'm going to end on a quick story. In this book, there's an example of McDonald's. Everyone knows McDonald's. Well, most people don't know that McDonald's was actually started by two brothers, Dick and Maurice, and they moved out to California from the East Coast with the dream of us having the American dream in California. They opened McDonald's and they were able to gross a certain number of sales, but they were stifled at their ability to expand until they linked up with a man named Ray Kroc. Now, Ray Kroc came and he actually went to their establishment, and his vision, I'm going to just read a quick excerpt from the book, and it says, excuse me. Okay. The quick excerpt is that when they were able to connect with Ray Kroc, his vision allowed him to see the full potential of the restaurant. And he came in and basically took over, multiplied the ability to generate revenue. He automated an assembly line and created the system of McDonald's that we know of today, which is really about consistency, getting the same type of quality food, having the same exact taste, getting food out quickly to their customers, and obviously generating revenue. And so because Ray Kroc took over McDonald's and he was able to just revolutionize the model, he was able to just expand exponentially the ability of this particular restaurant chain. So he took it from a level 3, obviously, to off the charts of a 10. And so that just is one example of how leadership truly does matter, and how there could be one person that looks at a situation with one set of eyes and they have one set of skill sets, and maybe because of a variety of factors, they're only able to take something to a certain level. And there could be another person that comes and sees the same situation and sees opportunity and sees ingenuity, and understands how to just amplify and grow things. And so obviously Ray Kroc's vision didn't mesh with the brothers' vision. Ultimately, Ray Kroc bought them out, and the rest was history. But that is just an example of how leadership truly matters. And so I hope that you all will take the time to just assess the leadership in your community, assess the leadership of your city council, your mayor, assess the leadership of your school board members, your college board members. All those people that impact how you live is so important. And so I will leave you all with that. I look forward to seeing you all next week. And again, if there are any questions, let me see if I don't see text messages coming in. Forgive me if I missed it, but I will, as usual, go in and answer questions that I may have missed. My live feed isn't coming in right now, so I'm not able to grab those live questions as I usually am, but that happens sometimes. But anyway, I will see you all next week. I will keep you all updated. If you have any questions or concerns, as always, please reach out to my office at contactmayor@comptoncity.org. Thank you all. God bless you.